Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So, what are we working on today? We're working on Fists of Chaos, obviously, as we have been for the last while. But what in particular are we doing today? Well, we're going to actually have to write combat from the ground up to do the next section of it. So, if we go to our handy dandy section right here, if we go to Fist of Chaos working. Nope, didn't mean if I keep hitting the wrong button. And we go to Fists of Chaos. Prelim document. Hello phone. What do you want? Nothing. You want nothing. Cool. Let me just pop in a cold one with the boys. So, we see here our next kind of section we need to do with styles. However, we cannot do styles until we get the combat system worked out relatively decently. You may ask, but why? Why do we need the combat system worked out? Two reasons. First reason's pretty obvious, as in it needs to have... I need to know what parts go into the combat system to understand the parts of the combat system and make sure the combat system works. So, in a very simple way of putting it, it's very complex and not very fun to deal with. So this is actually how I worked out, and I'm going to have to write everything kind of from the ground up for this, because I have the idea. This was my kind of basic sense of like, okay, here's what a style might look like. 13 different ones, different stances, keywords, defensive moves, offensive moves. So just a lot of different things here. So overall, I think we need to actually just write the combat system whole heart, this whole cloth, write it down. Once that's done, you'll be able to add styles a lot easier. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Fists of Chaos combat section. And project dice, we're going to go to, just to get the... Why I'm doing this in particular is I just want to get the format correct. The A to B to C to D. So if we go to right here, and we're going to put you not right up there, combat section, sounds of combat, heading 1, archivo. Okay. Getting that all sounds up, and we're going to go all the way down here and just write it in our simple document we have set up already. I'll go over everything here once this is done, roughly. So, determining justice by the fist. Escaping. They're determining justice by the fist, or simply destroying your enemies before you. Violence is a part of the martial artist's life. In Fists of Chaos, the characters will be engaging in fights regularly as they struggle to overcome their foes through brutal, deadly fights. So, okay. Now we get to do the fun part. So, oh god, how do I want to format this? How do I want to format this at all? When the characters begin a fight. Con. Battle is split up into three kinds of scenarios: duels, brawls, and skirmishes. A duel is between a small set of characters. Actually, a duel is between two to five characters, all competing against one another, fighting to incapacitate each other through their deadly skills and abilities. A brawl is between many characters. It's between many characters. It's between many characters duking it out for victory. A skirmishes are between larger forces fighting while the characters survive in the middle. So we're going to start with duels. Character in a duel. Character in a duel. How do I want to word this? Characters in a duel start by rolling their finesse die, or fin die, determine their starting momentum. Determine who claims the momentum. The character who claims the momentum may act first, allowing them to perform actions during their turn. Actions until another character seizes the initiative. Seizes the momentum, I mean. A character may willingly give up the momentum to the next highest roller, or to their opponent in a one-on-one scenario. If two characters roll at the same value for momentum, they act in tandem. They act in tandem, which they start a clash. To determine who seizes the momentum. clash is winner. Winner is determined by the What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Let me just check everything is the way it's supposed to be looking. Clash's winner. The Clash's winner is determined by a contest, a OC check, OC will check, will or strength check to who actually is determined by who spends the most stamina initially. Actually, no, I'm going to get all the same momentum. Both may spend stamina going back and forth. Both may spend stamina to claim the momentum, going back and forth with the aggressor and defender. The aggressor first. Whoever spends the most stamina acts first. Seizes the momentum. Actions, duels. There's a variety of actions they may perform once they've seized the initiative. Each action takes once I seize the momentum. We'll keep calling it an initiative just because I'm me. That's my back going crickety crack. Maybe for once they've seized the momentum. Each action a character performs costs 1 of their stamina. If a character takes multiple actions per turn, it costs gradually more stamina for every other action. It costs 1 more stamina for every other action. Footnote: changing stance costs 1 stamina. Making a basic punch costs 1 stamina. Costs 2 stamina. Then if I change stance again, it costs 3 stamina. Okay, so our basic actions. Obviously, we have changed stance. So these are, we can change our stance. We can make a basic attack. We should call it a basic strike. So, momentum moves. Gotta change stance, basic strike. Offensive move. Refocus. Reposition. Disarm. So, I want to change stance. The character changes into one of their learned stances. Changing their attribute die levels as appropriate. Appropriate. Basic strike. Character attacks with one of their limbs, which is currently not crippled or broken. Punch, kick, headbutt. Actually, I should say basic grab. Punch. The character strikes with one of their arms. They deal strength damage. Kick. Character strikes with one of their legs. They deal strength plus toughness. Toughness damage. One arm must be usable. Both legs must be usable. Why do I say both legs need to be usable? Because the thing is, if you're, let's say, theoretically speaking, your left leg is broken. Someone has kicked it in, it is crippled, broke, it's bad, you aren't really going anywhere fast. If you try to kick with your right leg, you're going to collapse because you don't have a left leg. You can't exactly kick with your broken leg either. So you're getting something more because you're being able to strike with with your toughness and strength. Kicks are a lot more valuable. If you look at just about any kind of martial art, a kick is going to be stronger because you got a lot more force, a lot more speed, and generally, a kick's pretty solid. Like if you land a solid kick on someone's gut, it's going to hurt like hell. The problem is if you get hit at all. Really, if your leg ever goes down, suddenly you can't use kicks, like, because you can't stand hardly, and if you try to use it when you don't, well, obviously something bad's going on. Actually, what I can do is light attack, heavy attack. Yeah, light attack makes a quick attack with a limb. They deal strength. No. I'm going to make this a basic attack. Attack with one of their limbs. Punch, kick, headbutt. Basic strike. Strikes with their fist. They deal strength damage. Has one arm to be usable. Kick, the character strikes with their foot. They deal strength plus toughness damage. Requires both legs to be usable. The character strikes with their head. They deal toughness damage. Requires the head to be unbroken. Head to be usable. Yeah, headbutting is literally just, I'm going to hit you with my head. And the basic strikes are not really supposed to be these, like, fantastic things. They're basic punches, basic kicks, basic headbutts. They're not impressive. They're not strong. They're not anything. They are literally, I'm going to hit you, and you get to tell me where the damage goes. So, I'm going to punch you real fast. I block it with my arm. Okay, the damage goes to your arm. Or I'm going to kick you with strength plus toughness. All right, it's going to go to my torso. You kick me in the gut. Oof, ow. Don't really care. I'm not... It hurts, but I'm not dying. Okay. Well, headbutts, I'm gonna hit you with my head. Well, character makes a grab for their opponent. Grab for their opponent. They may grab a limb, and that limb is exclusively targeted for future moves and strikes. And not usable by the opponent. Requires both arms to be usable. Grabs are very useful. Grabs are also not very useful. As you're grabbing someone, let's say I grab you by the arm. Limbs require one arm. Limbs require one arm. No. Arms, legs, and head require one hand, one arm available. The torso requires both arms available. Yeah, that makes sense. You're bear hugging someone effectively. Slam them to the ground. Offensive move. A character uses one of their style's offensive moves they have learned. The character performs the action as listed. Following the requirements and stipulations. Refocus. The character loses the momentum. And restore all of their stamina. Actually, and restore toughness and stamina. Oh yeah, will and stamina. Reposition. The character makes an active movement to another place in the arena, in the fight. During time another character possesses the momentum, they are acting quickly and effectively to dispose of the character, dispose of their opponent. However, during this time, the characters who do not possess the momentum may perform a series of actions that help defend or prepare themselves for when/if they seize the momentum. Mental actions. Defensive actions. Yep, defensive moves. The character may expend stamina to perform defensive moves that allow defensive moves. Often these require a opposed check. To be successfully performed against the opponent. On a success, they are triggered. Block. The character expends stamina at a 1-to-1 ratio to mitigate damage from a attack. Dodge. Character makes an attempt to dodge out of the way of a strike. making an opposed check of dex versus their opponent's attribute. Footnote. Often this is the attacking die of the opponent. So a basic strike action. So a basic punch. Punch would be strength versus dex. Like versus finesse. I mean, I'm going to keep calling it, dex, because that's what immediately comes to my head when I say it. It's dexterity, finesse. So a basic punch would be strength. On a success, the character loses movement. The character mitigates all damage. Mitigates all damage. On a failure, the attack continues as normal. So, effectively, a block is your guaranteed, I'm not taking damage. I am putting my arm up and blocking that damage, but I'm expending a lot more stamina for it. A dodge is your gamble. It's the, okay, I'm going to try to dodge out of the way of him going to punch me. He's, we're jumping around the ring a little bit. We're like, okay, we're moving around. And he tries to punch me. Blocking is putting my arms up and, blocking him, but it's taking my stamina away. That's a guarantee. Dodging, on the other hand, is me making a gamble. Your strength versus my finesse. Roll the dice. I dodge out of the way. But if it's successful, you punch me in the face, and it hurts like hell. And then we have our final one, which is reposition. No, we've got, what's the move? Rework. Pretty much what I want this mechanic to be is, because let's say I'm making an attack. I want to punch you in the face. My attack would be, okay, I'm making a basic kick to your face. And if you do absolutely nothing, I'm going to roll my strength plus my toughness and hit you in the face. You don't get a roll. I'm going to kick you in the face because you're not doing anything to mitigate it. So you can either block, use your stamina to kind of mitigate the damage, try to dodge out of the way, or you can effectively move it to another limb. So it's like, okay, you're going to kick me in the face. No, you're not. You're going to kick me in the torso. It's not going to do as much damage to me, and it's not going to be as important. Or, you're going to, instead of, kicking me in the face, you're going to kick me in my arm because I have armor there or something. That's the word I'm looking for. Do I know what the word is? Reposition. Yeah, reposition would be the best word for it. Fuck. So, let's go to reposition. The character moves the strike to a separate limb to be targeted. They take the damage on that limb instead. Costs 1 stamina, so all of these actions cost the defender a stamina to perform. Oh gosh. inspiration juice is needed. Cause I'm a raging alcoholic. Popping a cold one with the boys. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. There we are. So, let's see. So we want to maneuver the character makes active move to another place in the fight. New position, start to accept and be targeted. All of these actions cost the defender one stamina to perform. However, if no actions are used, the defender restores 2 stamina instead. So you're always wanting to go back and forth, being this like, you're going to be spending 5 stamina to hit me, attack me, and do a bunch of other things. You're rapidly expending stamina if you are doing things. If you are a attacker. So if I want to punch you, let's say 2 times, I want to do a 1-2 jab, hit and cross. That's what I want to do. I'm a boxer. Hit you twice in the face. That's my goal. It's going to cost me 3. It's going to cost me 1 stamina to hit you the first time. You don't do anything. You regain 2 stamina. Then it's going to cost me 2 to hit you the second time. You choose to block that. It costs you 2 stamina to block it. You have paid nothing, and you've only taken 1 hit. Well, I've paid 3 stamina. Okay, yeah, that math works there. It's not flawless, but I think it works. Dodge. Okay. I have character attempts. Makes a toughness or will. Or tech. Tech OC versus their opponent's strength to break a grab. Grab on them. On a success, the grab is broken. On a failure, the grab holds. So, optimally speaking, what occurs is I'm going to savage you. I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of you. And I'm going to use my stamina to do it. So, my first stamina, for 1 stamina, I'm going to grab you by the head. I'm just going to grab you right there. I'm going to use 2 more stamina to punch you in the head. You don't choose to block either of those. I'm going to keep punching you in the head until you go down. However, if you try to break the grab, then you can start repositioning again. But if you don't break the grab, that means my arm is still, not being able to be used. So if I break an arm, make a grab, I can't punch you anymore, obviously, because I don't have an arm. If my leg's also gone, I can't kick you because I can't move my fucking leg. So grabs, after you've lost a limb or 2, stop being very useful. Okay, yeah, that works. Okay. Alright, let's post all of you in Control-Shift-8. Control-Shift-8. Let's get you all in alphabetized order. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Basic strike, change stance. Defensive maneuver, refocus. Take all of you, and I can do the real simple method of just hitting add-ons, hitting the sorted paragraphs, which is the most valuable of the various Google Docs things, and just doing that, because I'm incredibly lazy. Defensive move, dodge, and reposition. Perform against the opponent. Martial artist scenarios. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're gonna actually do that. Call it something terribly inappropriate. Like, this entire game has just been me making inappropriate comments about fists. All right, so stamina. And if we do that, insert footnote. I should ask if there's any, if I should answer if there's any questions. Don't hesitate to ask. I am a man of principle, and I'll answer any question that is asked, even ones that aren't really pertinent to the question at hand, the situation at hand. So I know I'm not speaking, I'm not literally enunciating a lot of what I'm doing here, but that's just because there's a lot of little parts to make sure that everything is working correctly. And I want to make sure that everything slots together nicely. That's my goal right now, is to hit it all together. Okay, so here's all our duel actions. Basic grabs, basic strikes, change stance, offensive move, maneuvers, refocus. So what I'm going to do now is, side note, chains anew. A chain move is a move that allows the character to perform the action for free after they use another move. So a basic punch. The basic punch costs 1 stamina. I can then combo chain. I can then chain it to another move to perform both actions for the 1 stamina. My next move will cost 2 stamina, etc. 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 So let's see. Every action the character who has seized momentum takes, all other characters gain a +1 to their next time they are able to seize the momentum. Actually, I should add focus. Effort to search. Let's spring into action when appropriate. They may expend stamina equal to that. They may expend stamina to gain a bonus to their next momentum check. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to click on. Okay, there we go. So, chains and U. Format, I want to insert table 1. Chains and U. And then a second side note. 0 stamina. The character reaches, actually, no, yeah, already put in. What am I looking for? I know, oh yeah. Multiple characters in a duel. When a character seizes the momentum, all characters on their side, it may act together, expending stamina individually against a single opponent. However, the character being attacked still has access to all of their defensive moves and abilities, meaning that a move that allows them to seize the momentum, I mean, from a successful block, actually a successful dodge, triggers, allowing them to move, allowing them to act, and savage everyone. So, the idea behind having multiple characters, let's say it's three of us versus the big bad, we're all gonna fight, we're all gonna kung fu fight him, is little Sammy Chung's gonna attack once, and he misses. And, he goes for his big move, and the boss grabs his foot and throws him out of the way. He seized initiative then. And he's going to punch little Sammy Chung in the back of the head and knock him out. And just generally, the more people you have, the more likely you are to land bigger blows and more consistent you're able to do damage. The problem is, if you're going up against an opponent who knows what they're doing, a smart opponent is going to be able to use their moves, use their abilities to counter you, and make that fight, give them more opportunity to counter you. And you, as the character, may only get one action before your asshole friend fails miserably at his role, and suddenly the big bad has grabbed his arm and ripped it off, and then is using it to beat your other friend half to death with. This game's all about seizing the momentum, all about taking the initiative and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rapidly gain all my my points back, and I'm going to punch him in the face real fast, and knowing when to pull back versus when to pull forward. That's what it's about. It's saying, you know what? I've expended enough stamina. I need some stamina to defend myself. I'm going to pull back. Or I know this guy has some nasty moves that's going to flip my ass on, put me on my ass and kill my friends. So I want to do safe things against him. I want to really play what's advantageous to me. Second he seizes that momentum, we want him to burn his stamina real fast, and we want him to keep burning that stamina so he isn't able to do these crazy moves. He isn't able to do that, because that's your biggest advantage as many versus one, is your collective stamina is higher than his. or theirs, or whatever you're fighting. It's higher than theirs, meaning that your guys are not going to get as tired as they do if you are consistently doing little things. And you see in all these movies or shows or whatever, and anytime there's multiple fights, at first it seems like they have this monumental advantage, and it's like they're flipping your friends around, they're kicking your ass, and then everyone kind of starts working together and doing tandems, and it's like, well, okay, you have a move that allows you to, instantaneously do a little bit of damage to him, but he's going to have to spend his stamina to try to block that. Well, you're doing that, I'm going to spend my 2 stamina now to roundhouse kick him over the head, while he's going to spend his 1 stamina, because he hasn't done anything this round yet, he's going to spend it to do his Shoryuken, and boom, 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 we have, managed to combo him down and beat him. It's just the problem when he's allowed to act, he's going to be able to beat the shit out of one of you. I'm going to act in Savage Every. Okay. Insert table 1x1 post. Okay, now we're going to go into Brawls. A brawl. This one, multiple characters are engaged in a large fight with lower tier enemies. They are expected to deal with easily alone, but may overwhelm them with numbers. A character has all important characters, PCs, named allies, named villains, etc. Roll their fin to determine who acts first in the round. After all important characters have acted, the goons then act, throwing themselves at the characters to defeat them. All goons have a value between 1 and 5, indicating the amount of damage they can sustain before going down. When the goons act, they deal 1 point damage to all limbs of the character. They do 1 point of damage for each remaining goon standing. And fighting the character. Footnote. So if a character is fighting 5 rank 2 value 2 goons, and they roll a 12 on their damage, they are all defeated. However, actually I'm going to do 8 on their damage. They're all defeated. 4 are defeated. The fuggy defeated. 4 are defeated. The last goon will deal 1 damage to all of the character's limbs. Yeah. Brawls aren't supposed to be like this big thing, and I never really intend them to be, but minion mechanics, much to the chagrin of my friends, have always bamboozled them a bit, and they've always ended up struggling a bit against some of the problems, one may say, of fighting a lot of goons. And I could probably do like an entire, small stream just dedicated to making better goon mechanics. Computer. But oh, there we go. So yeah, I can just probably do an entire stream almost dedicated to just making better goon mechanics, just because it's a hard thing to balance out, because you want them to be threatening enough where they're not just these things that the players are like, oh god, it's you again. But you also want them to be impactful enough to make sure that they have, impactful enough where they have purpose, but not impactful enough where they can instantly kill a player on accident by virtue of having numbers, because that's usually kind of the problem that falls into like Exalted, for example, where if you read the goon rules correctly in Exalted, you found out that goons could kill an Exalted fairly easily because because of how their damage was calculated in certain situations. So it's like, so these are, as of right now, this is what I'm going to do for Brawls, just kind of keep it a fairly basic situation at hand. Duels are where that's where the meat of the game is. That's where the important part, you could say, is. Actually, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm only going to do two kinds of scenarios, duels and brawls. The character can freely use moves during this time to mitigate damage, deal additional damage, or perform a plethora of useful techniques to win the day. At any point, a character can spend 1 stamina. A character can spend 1 stamina to mitigate one damage can spend 1 stamina to mitigate 1 damage by the goon. by the goons. Footnote. Meaning a character can expend 5 stamina to mitigate 5 damage, etc. The character's stamina is restored at the end of every... Actually, the character's stamina restores by their toughness every round. So yeah, again, Brawls again aren't really supposed to be like these, oh no, we're getting our asses kicked by evil people. Like, no. You want the characters to succeed at Brawls. That's the point. Is that Brawls are supposed to be these easy things that allow characters to feel strong and be, you know, say like, haha, look at me, I am a master of Dissension Joe combat maneuvers, and that's Dissension Joe that's Girls in the Panzer. The most authentic tank-based martial art. Why am I making Girls in the Panzer reference here? God. I am tired. I should get some more sleep. Not before I'm done here. And Koibu 12. Brawls, chance and you, defensive actions, so... Alright. Okay. So I got combat summed up, so I'm gonna just highlight every... Actually, give me 1 second. You all need to be Archivo 12. Select all of you. Fists of Chaos. We're gonna go down to Stamina. And we're going to paste. Heading 4. Heading 2. Heading 4. Why did I select you as heading 2? Heading 3, I mean. In case you're wondering why I'm doing this, is because up here you can kind of see it defaults to its basic Archivo format. No, basic aerial format 95% of the time, so I just like double checking to make sure everything is solid there. So we can go back up here, hit this, hit that, and flesh on flesh, duels, brawls. Perfect. Okay, so we've got this done. Actually, this is kind of the tough part right here. This is kind of what I wanted to do anyway. This right here, the combat. Now, do I think it works? Yes. Which is why I'm gonna end the stream here. I've been streaming for about an hour now, hour 5. Not a very long stream, but the core reason is because this is my basic one. I couldn't decide on a setting, unfortunately. Every setting idea I kind of thought in my head, nothing quite panned out the way I wanted it to. So I said, screw it, I'm just going to do things I enjoy, or I'm going to make things that I think is interesting. So the key styles I'm using is the Overgrowth styles from the game Overgrowth, which is really good. Kenshi, Western flavored, I thought it would just be fun. Fantasy styles, as well as real life martial arts that are kind of weird. Like Bokator, which is beating up lions. Let's see, we have Jailhouse Rock, Coperia, and Krav Maga. And I'm going to actually have to write a section. This is kind of going to be the tour de force, you could call it, of this system is going to be the make whatever kind of moves and violence that you want to make. It's going to be put here, and it's going to have effectively an entire section dedicated to this is how you make a full-on, legitimate, thing. This is how you do it. If you want to make your own style, if you want to translate your favorite style to this is how you do it. And so here, these are my basic ones. So you see I have offensive, defensive, utility moves, and keywords. So kind of hard to see, so I'm just going to paste it right here. This is power kick. A character makes a dedicated and powerful kick, rolling their OC strength versus fin. A successful strike, the character deals strength times 2 damage to the target and stuns. Requires 2 functional legs. I would change these probably, but that's kind of what they're supposed to be. There's something that you can adopt as a character to be interesting. Be like, hey, because I practice this style, the Lugaru military style, that's what I'm calling it, I've learned how to do a power kick. And I can make these big ol' attacks against you. The person. And when I kick you, I'm going to do a shit ton of damage. And so you're going to probably want to dodge that because I'm a rabbit and I'm a murder machine. And I hate you. So these are kind of my ideas. I actually wrote these up today because I wanted to see what it theoretically would look like. And now that I kind of have the basics done, since I wrote the combat system, combat's done, I can get the problem children out there and I can start writing these styles. Because overall, if I'm taking a rough guess, each of these is going to take about a page of it. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 pages are going to be dedicated to literally just styles and fighting and kind of how things work and where how people are going to fight, how people aren't going to fight, all kind of combining together to make a specific thing. And then in the bonus rules, I'm going to put on things like, hey, you want to make your own martial arts for something that isn't necessarily human. Okay, cool. Define how many limbs they have and kind of make it out something more akin to that, because that could be relatively interesting. But thank you all for watching. As always, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. If you are watching this on the YouTube sphere, for whatever godforsaken reason, like, comment, subscribe. Give me that engagement bucks. If you're on Twitch currently watching this, even though it says only one person is, and that's Always News, who shows Always News. I don't know why you're following me, of all people. You're a beautiful human being, I guess. I guess you just want something in the background as the news plays, as the depressing world of reality sets in, and we all cry ourselves to sleep. Feel free to leave me a follow. I'm at 14 followers right now. I would like more, just so I can say that I'm making it TM, because that would be fun. I would like to grow this thing. And since I haven't really gotten that many, dare I say, following, yeah, it's a lot of the people who have followed me are friends and things like that. I would like to kind of see what people are looking for. Do they like the dev work? Do they like me just rambling to myself and talking about games? I don't know yet. I mean, I would like it if people kind of engaged more, but that's just me. Well, thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Goodbye.